Hello. This is my second video that's going to be looking at some new records that have come out in the past year or so that I think are worth a listen, that you should check out if you're interested, if you like the kind of music that we make, or the sort of something similar but definitely sounds different, that they're sort of good companion pieces that you might want to check out, other bands that deserve a listen. But before I get started, just to let everybody know, we still have our R2 LPs available on our Bandcamp, which will be in the description below. Into This Abyss is our most recent one, and Hollow Voices of a Dead Generation, which is actually an older album of ours that is out on vinyl. It's down to the last couple copies here, so if you're interested, go to our Bandcamp and grab a copy. They're both on cool different colors. And as we work towards putting out the new one and sort of design it and everything, I'll give you updates and show you like some of the album art ideas I have. I already have an idea for what the album's going to look like and the whole theme. So I'm learning a new program to design it the way that I want to, which is it's going to be a challenge, but if it works out, it's going to be cool. So anyways, today I wanted to talk about couple other records. Last time I mentioned Impaler and Rip Snorter's split that came out a year or so ago, and Death SS's album. And at the end of the video, I got a little bit worried because I was second guessing myself, because I thought I had checked, but I wasn't sure. I wanted to confirm that there is no sort of affiliation with any other organization which uses those two initials, and there is not. It's completely unrelated. It just, I guess, sounded scary, and so there you go. So you can listen to it and not worry about getting your mind corrupted by the teachings of a very bad man. Okay, so anyways, so those two, those bands that I listened to, they were like older, had been around for a while, and predated the early, not predated the sort of reformation of the Misfits, which in my sort of view of what kicked off horror punk as a scene really was due to that 1997 American Psycho, Famous Monsters era of the Misfits. They toured constantly. They put out two real high-profile albums, one of them on Geffen, one of them on Roadrunner, so they were available everywhere. It wasn't obscure anymore. The band itself, its notoriety became enormous as the years went by, both due to just Metallica covering them and bringing them into the public consciousness, and the strength of their logo. Just the Fiend Skull logo of the Misfits is probably the greatest of all of punk rock's logos. The only other ones I can think of that are even on par would be like the Black Flag bars, and I don't know. I think those are the two. There's just nothing else that even compares. They're so perfect and simple, and just typify. You just wear that and it's punk. You know what I mean? It's perfect, beautiful logos. That. With the Misfits being the biggest, obviously, a band of that genre, you obviously are going to have a lot of people that want to sound just like the Misfits. But those bands that I mentioned last time don't sound anything like them. They are, in fact, veer more towards the metal side, which I kind of tend to like too, because I think that the genre horror punk as a sort of darker genre, it should be a little heavier. Some bands, that's not their jam and they don't want to go heavier, but to me it seems like it sort of lends itself to that. It's some just shy of being straight metal, I think, is when it sounds cool. I like the aggressive stuff. The Earth AD era Misfits was great, and it was basically just like a proto metal album. I don't know, that's just my own little take on the scene, and eventually I want to do a series of videos just kind of giving my research into the history of this genre, that since I've been associated with it for going on for 20 years now. It's meant a lot to me, even though I don't follow every single band in the genre, and I like a wide variety of music outside of that. I'm a huge fan of industrial music. I'm a huge fan of all kinds of different, tons of different genres. I love 70s stuff. I love a lot, but everything I do like typically has like an aesthetic to it, and horror punk has a great aesthetic, I think. One of the coolest, and it could be even kicked up a notch. There's a band that I'll talk about in another video that I think does the best job of the aesthetic of any band that I can think of. But today I'm going to talk about two recent albums that I got. So one of them was a Kickstarter that Kickstarter or Indiegogo, one of those like pledge, things. And so it took a while for me to wait around for it to come out. But this band's been around for a long time, at least as long as us, maybe longer. And they're totally a different sound. There's a much more, and we were both on the Cannibal Flesh Riot soundtrack, which was an honor, and it was cool to be part of that, plus to be alongside these guys. They also kind of blend genres. They're not just a straight copy of a band like the Misfits or trying to ape that sound, but instead have the sort of the dark side, but whereas the Misfits, and I think a lot of bands within the modern horror punk sort of sound tend to push towards like that 50s sound that was typified by early like Legacy of Brutality kind of song structure, as well as probably the biggest song that the Graves era of the Misfits released, which would have been Saturday Night, which just I think had far-ranging impact as far as people that came afterwards that just heard that song and saw that band and were like, I want to make 100 of those songs, because there's a lot of I've heard a lot of similar ones, and that's not talking shit. That just means that that song obviously had an impact. People love it. So this band, I'm not associating it with that at all. Just saying how there's that 50s kind of streak that runs through a lot of horror punk. There's a very broad crossover between like psychobilly and horror punk as well. The two genres mix pretty well. They're both the sort of horror, dark, kindred spirit to their broader genre, where in psychobilly you've got rockabilly and in horror punk you've got punk. So it's sort of like the evil twin, the evil mutant brother that's kept in the dungeon. You got psychobilly from rockabilly, and then you get horror punk from punk. This band is Ghoultown. They've been around, I don't remember how long, but at least 20 years, I'm assuming, since 2000, early 2000s, maybe even longer. Maybe not quite as long, but so I ordered this album because I like their music. I'm not, I'm not a huge like country western dude. Not a big. I like my fair share of a little bit of psychobilly here and there. These guys, I wouldn't put them in that. I'm only bringing up the psychobilly thing just because it's sort of a blended musical genre. They take the sort of country metal approach to a horror aesthetic. Really awesome cover art. I love this whole thing. I've got a couple of their 7 inches, and this is my first full length by them. It is on. Let's see, black vinyl, and here's the insert. And it comes with a insert. The album is Curse of Eldorado, and there you can see the band down there. So you've got like that kind of like western infused, country infused, metally punk, kind of like, I guess the Super Suckers maybe is like something that it sounds like to me with my limited range of references for this kind of sound, but very cool. My favorite song off of here was, I think it was Eldorado Rising and The Badlands, both those two. It's like the first 2 songs on the album sound really good. The whole thing is good. Cool production. They did it all themselves. So I appreciate when bands are like that. It's fun to hear other bands and like what they can do with, what they've got. So that's a great record. I know it was a Kickstarter when I got it, but I'm assuming it's available. And if I can find a link on their Bandcamp or something, I'll put that below. So I would check these guys out. Another independent band doing it their own way, on their own dime. They're very cool. From Texas. Okay, and then the other one, the other album, the new album, I just got this in the mail. In fact, I haven't even opened it up. I was very excited to get this. We used to play a lot, or a fair amount, I wouldn't say a lot, but just we live kind of far away, but it's another Californian horror rock band, part of the California Brotherhood, the Far West contingent of bands where, the genre, it seems like it's centered definitely around the East Coast, Midwest. That's like the real hot spots where a lot of the bands are from, but you got a fair amount of us in California as well. And I'll talk about some of those other bands as well. But so this is the newest one I have. It's a very cool color vinyl. The band that we used to play with a lot was the Stellar Corpses, and then without getting into, because I don't even know what the thing is, I don't want to make anybody angry with me or anything. I purposely want to stay out of any inner band turmoil, but the band split up. Kind of kept going with most of the members leaving, and Emilio started his own project called Dark Ride. I think it's just Emilio. I don't know if anybody else is in it from the Stellar Corpses, actually, to be honest. I should look it up, but let me see. Very cool package. So Dark Ride, so they're pretty brand new. This came out like this year. I think he did pre-orders for it and just sent the vinyls out. Like I got mine like maybe like a week ago, something like that. They have a cool video out on the internet with some pretty good effects, and it's got like Zool Zool from Ghostbusters shooting lasers at him. Really good effects. I don't know how they did it, but I love it. And the other cool thing that I thought was so badass is that, I don't know, I just love it. It sounded really good. Dig it. So here is the insert. This is an EP, so 4 tracks. My favorite one on here for sure was Antihero. His voice sounds really good. The production is like outstanding. They recorded it. I looked it up. First let me show the vinyl. Very cool, like sort of translucent light blue vinyl. And you get the stickers on one side, which I think is kind of cool. It's a one-sided vinyl, so like right here is totally smooth, so it's a one-sided EP. That's I like that. I think that's a cool way of doing it. A lot of times you can see bands will do that where they'll like, you can get the like artwork or something etched in one side. I've wanted to do that. But anyways, very cool looking. Sounds great. Definitely a good like modern sound. It has that like excellent production. It was recorded somewhere in Santa Cruz, which is I believe where he's from. Further up north than me. I'm down south in California, but yeah, Emilio's voice sounds awesome. I mean, it really came out good, dude. It's excellent. So I definitely suggest picking this up if it's still available. It might be sold out because I think he did a limited run and they went pretty fast. So I'm hoping he's working on a full length to follow it up. But everything about this thing is good, man. The colors look good. I love the purple and blue together. To me, looks great. I think the logo is cool. Yeah, so it was produced by Randy Moore and Olav Tabatabi at Noise Eater Recordings. And if you're anywhere in that area, I would go to these guys to record because this album sounds freaking legit. It sounds like a major label production. Some of the, I don't know, just it's just very pristine. It's very perfect. It came out great. So I love it. It's a good album. So I would suggest going to check those 2 records out if you're into the horror rock world. Yeah, both are great and cool, eclectic kind of, especially in as it refers to Ghoultown, more eclectic kind of sound than you might expect from the genre. So yeah, if you get a chance, check them out. Hope you like them. Let me know. This is my second one of these. If you would like me to keep doing these or not, if it's annoying and you don't want to see it, then say stop talking about records and just talk about other stuff. But if it's something that interests you, let me know. And if there's other bands that you think I should check out, I'd like to know too, because I'm always looking for new bands. My goal is I'd like to be able to, now that I've been using Zoom for a year, I'm pretty good at it. I think we could do some cool interviews. I'd love to interview some other bands and just have a chat about like where, especially bands that are out of our area that we've never been able to tour with or anything. And I think that would be a cool way to kind of like, hear about their experiences and, their influences and stuff as well. So yeah, please let me know if there's some bands that you think I should check out or talk about. The next one I'm going to talk about is one that I've been waiting to talk about too, that I bought this album right before the shutdown. I got it in the mail and then the shutdown happened, and I've been like the whole time I've been talking, I've told these guys like, I want to do an interview with you. I've known about them for years. They are a band out of Wisconsin, which is where I was born. So it's got to be great. And I'll talk about them in the next video, but that's it for this one. I hope you like it, and I'll see you next time. All right, thanks.